Hi, this is Quinn James, and today I am playing Kimango. I normally play this, I believe he's a fellow, in Speed. I think this is the first time I've played him in any sort of longer game, so I don't know really how he plays longer games. This is not a bingo rack, I'm pretty sure. The obvious play is change IO. I think that's what I'm going to do. I guess just change IO is worth considering. I'm going to briefly go over, what my odds are of drawing a bingo. It's actually looking okay. There are some annoying, relatively common draws that don't produce a bingo, but I think it's enough that changing one is correct. And unfortunately, that doesn't pay off. I'm pretty sure this is also not a bingo, so now we're going to have an interesting little issue over what is the correct. I can either exchange or I can play small, and actually I think I'm actually thinking I'm going to play small. Because ISC has the 4-pass rule, and I'm not. If I change a D and pick up a high pointer, my odds of winning this game are, I think, actually lower than my odds of just beating this player straight up. So I'm just going to play small. And I do draw a 7 out of that noticer. Corniest noticer. I do have redaction as a 9 here. Don't think it's as good as this. Just gonna go ahead and play this. I wonder if this spelling of Savvied is good. That this might bingo through a Y. I'm not going to get one anyway, so it doesn't matter. And unsurprisingly, I get a bingo back. This is a good candidate to play. Trying to see if there's anything decent that actually dumps both fees. This really isn't worth the point sacrifice. I think that's just going to be this. Deeve, evade, eved. Not too surprising, as I mentioned. I mostly play game and speed. Might be a little bit of an issue where I have to play kind of a little bit faster than I might otherwise in order to keep pace, but it shouldn't really be a big problem. Looking at see if I can do anything here. don't think that actually works for me. I got this, I guess. Don't like it. I don't think this is a word. This is bad leave. I'm losing time. This is decent. I do keep the S to go here. Then my odds of drawing a 6 that goes all the way here aren't great. Maybe like 30%, but they're not nothing. And that would be a couple points out of value. Okay, it could tie break if it turns out being close. This is also a solid play. I think this might actually be better. Yeah, this is actually better. Nicely defensive. This is actually a pretty strong leave. The Oda, Soda hooks can actually start things with V, which is unusual, and over here, and increases the value of this V. I think Kiva is right. Of the plays that I've seen, I guess I can look real briefly for something better. Oh, there's this evoked for 28. Is evoked or Kiva? This has the back hook. Open stuff that doesn't really help. Unbalanced vowel consonant. Normally you'd like scoring extra points and dumping the V, but especially against this kind of player, I don't see the value in opening here in a tight game. I think I'm going to play Kiva and hope to bingo, or at least keep pace. And I do actually, with this S and the V it's quite likely I'll draw something for big points here. So that's just the final point in favor of Kiva. I'm not sure I actually did draw anything there. Yeah, kind of a crappy draw. Feg is just F and G just both have really bad negative synergy with that V. So not what I would have hoped to see. I do have Vogue here, which doesn't give anything back at all and scores well and keeps well. Also Veg over here, which is fairly close to being even. The leave is very slightly worse. The score is 2 points worse. It blocks bingos to this C, other bingos, which aren't really a big deal. Micro, I'm pretty sure does not take anything in the back of it. Again, there's some weird spots on this board, so I'm going to take a bit more time, just making sure I'm not missing like weird 6s to this M. The ED plays overlap with OT, which is a hard thing to overlap. I think I still don't have anything. Vogue, which is a new 3, I think is the play here. Still doesn't look like a bingo. If I get the other M in a really nice place, I could play Tumifies. That's not going to happen. I have this good equity play. Not too worried about this, and I am retaining an E and good bingo tiles, so I am favored to take this anyway. If blocks these I'm not feeling these lanes. I don't think I have anything underlapping this. At least anything worth playing. I would want to play off this F pretty much no matter what I do. This is restricted now. I do have this U to go here, but not really helping me out. I think this is good, but it's not worth dumping that S and keeping the U. So not worth leaving that spot. This is another one seeming like not a super hard decision. And again, I'm being fast played, so I might as well just make pretty good plays. It is tied. We're about halfway through the game. It's tied at 171. Both of us are even on bingos. I'm getting the board opened all the time. I'm blocking like every time. I'm retaining good bingo tiles pretty much every time, and I'm drawing nothing, which is pretty frustrating. It's sometimes Scrabble just goes like this, that, you know, best laid plans or whatever, and you just have to adapt. And just that the fact that this hasn't worked the last however many turns doesn't mean that it's the wrong strategy. It's still the right strategy to go for a bingo with racks like this, and there's not much else you can do. I mean, like, the idea that I would have somehow been better off if I'd taken 15 extra points, especially since now I've drawn the F back again. So I actually have Fight A's again if I want to play it. Although I think even now it's still wrong. I'm not super feeling this play. It's the best thing I see so far. 24 is good. It's a decent leave, but I would prefer to play off something like FOE. Actually, FOE is exactly what I would prefer to play off. FIO would also be fine. FIE would be okay. No, that is not a thing. I was thinking this. Oh my! That is a pretty bingo. And now I'm suddenly trailing. Not sure that really affects what I want to do. I guess it slightly improves. Well, because of is going to be identical to oof, except that it scores more. So that would still be fine. It would slightly improve my wanting to go for points, but where am I really going to go for points? I mean, emotes is just, it's the same amount of points to play that. I'm not seeing, like, things with the M and F that would actually, you know, go there and score a ton of points. I guess now it's decide between F and N of. I think F in the tiebreaker being that there's more E's out than O's. It's a slightly worse leave, but I think on this board at least. But yeah, that would be the tiebreaker. Sometimes you do have to pay attention to what's in the bag. Okay, and that gives me a playable bingo finally. Again, at Tousty. And I have Tousty over here as well. Though I would much prefer playing it over here. or actually alternatively over here. Still, it looks like I pretty much, like, unless there's some ridiculous overlap over there, you know. And that's not happening. So I have Toasty. Why do people ask me for games while I'm in games? Did they not realize how easy it is to check if somebody's in a game? Just finger them or whatever. Not in the lewd way, in this way, like this. And I'll just say, I'm playing. So that you don't have to do that. Yeah, it's going to be Toasty. I keep wanting this to be a word. I don't think it is. Don't think this is either. I don't think there's a thing in that. So I'm back in the game. Still not really favored. I'm down by 18 in tempo. So still not really favored in the absence of information about my opponent, but I think I still got a good shot to win this. I think I'm better than my opponent, so I can guess there might be missed bingos, that there might be misplays. So if I do my job, then I have a shot to win it. I'd love to have like a 6 that keeps a vowel and a consonant. I'm not sure that I'm gonna get that. My best play might be something like this, although I don't like the unbalanced. I'd rather leave 2 consonants and a vowel than 1 consonant and 2 vowels. I'm not sure that I'm gonna get to do that. Okay, so I have to try and play through this Z, or I'm in really big trouble. I'm not sure if I have a play. Ooh. Wow. Not only do I not have a play, I'm not sure I even have a balanced block. This barely counts as a block because there's plenty of things that Kim could play through it. This is unbalanced. This is really unbalanced. This is unbalanced. Although it's actually okay. I was worried about playing things through it. The G is gone. The F is gone. If you add both the B and E, I think Bry's is a word. But that's not really my biggest problem right now. So I guess I'll play this. Like, at this point, I'm in some pretty big trouble if I don't either play through this Z or score, so... So, yeah, in case I'm missing something, I'm gonna you know, keep looking for a little while. But I don't think I am. I really don't. Okay, this is a loiner, but unfortunately that doesn't go down anywhere. Looking again for M plays. Though I might end up being forced to open a lane instead of being able to make M plays. I'm now in a significant amount of trouble not being able to take advantage of that Z. Is that... What is the new thing? What is the thing in this? It's been in my card box a lot. I missed it a bunch. I think it's this. If it comes down to it, I'll play it. I might get 5 points. I would be unbelievably embarrassed if a loiner played somewhere and I missed it. So I got to make sure I check kimango's next play in case it opened the spot for a loiner. Now this N is still a bingo lane. I just can't use it right now because I don't have an A or a U to go above this DO. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern here until Kim's next play. If it's something neutral, I play Moyle. Which is pretty much the best possible play through that M. If it's something that blocks, I have to respond dynamically and find a way to open. Hopefully not something like this. Although actually, well, because you have to land a 7 to actually get to this triple, so this might not be so bad. Still, what annoys me about a play like that is that blocking it, you could block this lane at the same time. But this is kind of a marginal lane anyway. Ooh, and you would block this lane too. Yeah, and if this stuff gets blocked this turn, then I might not have the option of playing that. At least I'm finally making kimango use some clock time. I can see Riz being difficult to respond to. especially if he hasn't checked the pool, but and seeing that the F and the G are not available. But I guess from my perspective, I might still have the BE. I might be setting up something that Kim isn't sure that he can see, and so is worrying about that. Or it could be something depressingly mundane, like he's trying to see if he has a bingo, or if the bingo that he's found is acceptable, and then he ends up, just dropping it or whatever, and the game's over. Sometimes that's what happens. And it would be pretty disappointing to lose a game like this, but, I have to admit that the odds are not in my favor. And have not been for a while, ever since. Probably ever since a column came down. Proving that both blanks are gone. Taking that big lead, and Toasty really wasn't enough. Not with that Z that I couldn't respond to. And then had to block, because otherwise odds are that Kim would have just dumped something for 40 or 50 on that Z and, potentially outrun any bingo. I guess this is also a play. I wonder if it's competitive with Moyle. Ren versus Lyre. The T wants vowels. This is a marginal lane that it also wants vowels. It wants the I and O, and Moyle doesn't keep either of them. Pone at least keeps one. Is there a place to play off ELO for a decent score, I wonder? Didn't see one, but maybe there is. The other advantage of Pone is that it actually preserves this MA for scoring. Which I think is something that I want. At least if the next well, I was gonna say if Kim's next play is dinky, but really almost regardless of Kim's next play. I'm trailing, so I do not mind making scoring spots, especially scoring spots that don't necessarily require you to have high point tiles. This board isn't that great for high point tiles right now. A 5 ending in H could score. Not really sure what else you could really do. There are some juicy spots. This S hook is available, the M. A couple things go here. Okay, I think after a play like that, Pone is correct. Okay, and that gives me terrible at over here. Which has to be worth playing, even though B10 I could get hit. Probably will get hit. But if I don't get hit, then I'm really in the game. I actually have Bry's too. So I could consider just doing Bry's and keeping decent tiles. However, first of all, I'm not actually 100% sure Bry's is a word. Second, if I do that, well, EILLR is actually not great bingo stuff on this board. I telegraph exactly what I'm doing. I don't have a lot of chances to draw high point tiles to score. I can really easily just get myself outrun. I play terrible, everything's kind of thrown wide open. I have chances to, especially if Kim's next play is not dumping a couple of high pointers, then terrible really gives me chances to just pull that moonshot at B10. Pull an H or a W or a Y. And that's kind of fishy. That's fishy, so I think terrible is correct. That gives me this for 53, which if it goes down, probably wins the game against anything other than a bingo. It might not be the best play. There's other options that score, but that's a thing that is available. And of course, I could get hit by a bingo right now, but the advantage of terrible here is that after a fish is that it reduces. Okay, and I get hit by Warden. So now I have to decide what to play. Unthaw might actually be what I play. 48. Especially if Nils doesn't go down after that. What does that make the scores? Makes it 33. 415, 422, and then Nils doesn't go down. I think it still doesn't win. There's Whatnot over here. That actually also blocks Nil. However, it actually scores less than Unthaw. Well, now it doesn't play up top. Oh God! Now I'm trying to remember There's another 7 that I am trying to remember what and I think the correct is 7 is this rather than this, which just looks wrong. Oh God! I'm gonna have to play this. I think. I play this. This is actually, well, this is actually 1 point less than Unthaw, right? Okay, so maybe not. On the other hand, well, this is going to give back Sil for 15. This is going to give back nil for 14. So if those are the plays, it's 2 points better. But those are probably not going to be the plays. It's going to be like Mel's for 21. You know, -2 nets 17, and then I do something with AN 10. And then after this, well, this at least gives me NU for 14, which is better than 10. And is not worth blocking for Kim, so this is actually, now this is actually looking better. But I'm not sure. Does that sequence of plays actually even win, though? Let me see. 367 plus 47 is 33 and 47. 414. Ozil, did I say that was 15, 16, or what did I say that was? It's 15. 437. New gets me 14. 428. I pick up 2 points, so 430. So I lose by 7. And again, we're assuming Mel's or whatever doesn't go down, because those would be better. But just assuming the very obvious plays in the same quadrant go down. Unthaw gives me 48, 415. When nil for 14. 435, and then okay, well actually I would have na parallel to unthaw for 12, so that would be better than an. So that would get me up to 427. So I would lose by 8 instead of 7, again, assuming Mel's doesn't get spotted, in which case I'd lose by more. Do I have anything that scores more than that? Oh my god, I wish this was a word. But it's not, it's just with an E. It's because it's wenow instead. Yeah, this is why Kimango had to have no high point tiles at all. Which was quite possible after Joy, but I can't try and even set something up because nils. Anything I can see that would be a competent setup. Nils would not block nils, and nils would just still go down. So I guess the other thing to consider is if there's any way I can try and block nils and make and not play off all my scoring tiles and preserve them for somewhere. The strongest of that type of play would be this, I think. Or, well, this, but I don't think that the WU... Well, it goes here, WUS, but not to score. If I want to score, I need AW. And where does AW go? Normally, you would expect that to go somewhere, but unless it goes somewhere for like 1 billion... And I'm about to run out of time. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just going to play on Thaw and Lose. I think that's just the best thing that I see. Oh, now it's 13. Okay. Still loses, but it was 13. Oh, and Nils plays here. Okay. For less, but still winning. Of course, anything could happen. Something truly horrible could go down, but I'm not counting on it. So just in case it's something that is not an outplay, I'll continue looking for best places to put A in. Oh, there's this. It, again, still not enough points. But depending on what goes down, could be close. Still, the correct thing is actually to just play nils down here, but there was no way I could score and block that spot as well as the more lucrative spot and more obvious spot under WE, so... If that ending game is any indication in how long it took me to see plays, probably not my best played game. But we'll see once I look through the the examiner after Kim puts me out of my misery. Or whatever the case may be. This is now the second best play with AN, besides this. Feel free to just lose your internet connection. That would be one way to win. Or just have a phone call and go overtime. Now those things are probably not happening. And they would be unsatisfying ways to win anyway. I wonder if there are people who would have played Brise. I'm kind of struggling to see paths to victory after Brise because it really just doesn't look like I bingo very often. Like for me, Joy sealed it because Joy clearly implied bingo tiles. Like, why else would you dump something as valuable as the Y over there? Like, okay, well, it wasn't valuable because I hadn't played terrible yet, so it wasn't as valuable. It was still valuable for like the ME spot, AYAH draws. So, yeah. Inferred bingo tiles ended up being bingo-ish tiles, but that spot was so hot that even having one high pointer on the rack was enough ultimately to sink me. Okay, so his clock's running down, so this will be over soon one way or another. And I'll lose a bunch of rating, most likely here, because most likely I will not win this game, but that's okay, I'll probably gain it back. I've been playing, I think, pretty good Scrabble lately. And I've had my rating dip back under 2,000 a couple times and then come back, so I think at this point it's actually a reflection of me playing well. And some of that is going to be speed, but I'm winning a whole lot of longer games too. Because for the game volume, it has never bothered to finger me to find out my name. And let's see what I missed here. No chance I'm playing Iodine on a turn like that. No chance I'm playing any of these things either. Again, it was between that and exchanging, really. Noticer was the best scoring bingo there. Knave available over here. Interesting play. I'm not loving the iOS sleeve, but scores quite well. Definitely much more defensive than Evoked. I think it is better than what I played. 14F Kiva is probably not. No, I do retain the OS for here. There's plenty of other ways to bingo to that I don't retain. There's no real reason to open that. No, it's not as dangerous. With that V there, it's not as dangerous as the average bingo lane, but still, like... Feudist would have been better than Fides, but not really correct. Another neat play over here, Enough. Although at this point, I don't think I want to be blocking this lane, so I actually like Fuji better. It's a better lane for me than the ones I'm blocking are not good lanes for me. Ooh, I plain miss Motif and Motif. That's not good. Motif would have been the play, I think. For the same reason that I picked F over of. Quite close, though. And indeed, I had nothing through this Z, which is amazing. And I still like keeping an extra tile on this turn. Was this a word? It was, okay. This is Darnley. Yeah, this got missed. So, like I said at one point, I did expect a bingo may well be missed by my opponent at one point late in this game. And it did happen, but it wasn't enough for me to win the game. Brise was indeed a word, as I expected. But after this fish, like, I'm just gonna get my bet bingoed on, like, most likely. With all these lanes that I'm leaving open. Terrible really reduces the amount of lanes, and a lot of the lanes that do exist give massive counterplay. So even with hitting the high points thing, I still got close. Wait, what was the 16 point? Oh, F's over here, yeah. Wasn't even seeing that. We sat there and stared at it for 15 minutes and didn't see that little lane. Not particularly good. But I think overall, like, there were some weirdnesses, but they didn't add up to all that much. So this would have been a pretty difficult game for me to win, I think, regardless. But you know, that's the kind of thing that just happens, and you just gotta kind of let that roll, you know, over your shoulders. Some games will not work out, but if your strategy is solid, then you really can't let it not working out sort of make you tilt and overthink things in the future. I would play this game pretty much the same way again if I had to play it again. And you know, I was glad that I was able to keep it exciting at the end, even though, you know, it did not turn out to be quite enough. You know, I always like it when games are able to be close. Of course, I prefer to win, but as long as it's close, you know, as long as it's entertaining, you know, keep you guys entertained. keep you folks entertained. That makes me happy. So this has been Quinn James, and I will see you all very soon.